Hi everybody, it's Joey Remenyi here from seekingbalance.com.au. I'm a vestibular audiologist and neuroplasticity therapist, and I work with people who are struggling and living and trying to figure out the confusion of chronic dizziness, debilitating vertigo, disequilibrium, imbalance, and also persistent tinnitus. So I work with a lot of people who have invisible conditions, invisible symptoms, and the goose chase of medical investigations, and they're just going, what's wrong with me? Am I crazy? And somebody who understands this process intimately is Lara Bishop from the UK. She runs mummyseeingdouble.com, which is a blog that raises awareness for these invisible vestibular conditions. Laras contacted me and she's like, Joey, I want to pick your brain. And I'm like, sure thing, let's do it. So I want to introduce you to Lara. She's calling in from the UK. Welcome.
Hi. It's dark here and cold.
Morning here. So Lara, thanks for reaching out. Do you want to introduce people maybe just a little bit about how you came across me and why you want to ask me questions? Because you've got your own community of followers and your own experience. So introduce people to you.
I have. Thank you, Joey, and thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I obviously, as you say, run a blog of Mummy Seeing Double. I have twins, and also sometimes I see double when I'm dizzy. So basically, I came across you. Your name was being battered around the internet a little bit, around Facebook, around Instagram, but also around with Vestibular Disorders Association, because I know you do a bit of work with them as well. And I kept seeing your name and people saying, this girl is amazing, go see her YouTube channel, go see her videos and Facebook, and she's talking sense, she knows what she's talking about, she's amazing. So I went and checked you out. I viewed quite a lot of your videos, and I thought, actually, this woman, we could connect, we could do some things together. Maybe we could, I just want to pick her brains mainly. But I think, because I've got an audience of sufferers, unfortunately, a lot of people not knowing where to turn, really lost. Is there hope? Is there inspiration? Is there just something that will help me get out of this hellhole?
And this would be vestibular migraine, persistent postural perceptual dizziness, triple PD, maybe superior canal dehiscence, labyrinthitis, neuronitis, chronic ongoing BPV, Meniere's, that kind of.
It covers everything. Yeah, BPPV, Meniere's, tinnitus, everything you've mentioned, and a lot of the sort of unknown ones that we probably don't know about that are probably going to crop up at some stage. But I mean, my blog, I raise awareness for invisible disorders, so it can also be anxiety, depression, PTSD, endometriosis, a lot of other invisible conditions. So maybe services.
That's post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD.
Yeah.
And for people who have sudden onset tinnitus or sudden onset vestibular, they wake up in the middle of the night, that in and of itself can cause a PTSD because it's so traumatic and shocking. So that really is, it's just another label really. And I'm not fond of really labeling and diagnosing and getting caught in that, but it is another thing to hold lightly and to learn about. So post-traumatic stress disorder can be another factor in the quagmire. So what questions do you think would be helpful for your listeners, for people who are searching, confused, lost, struggling? Fire away.
I think the main thing that people come to me with is desperation, to be quite honest. I was there once years ago. I had no help. I had no one to talk to, no one who understood, no one that could really help me. So now it's a little bit more available. We've got, yourself and my blog and many blogs out there, but mainly people say to me, can I get better? Is there any hope? And what would you say to them, basically?
Yeah, well, I mean, for a living, I see people get better, so I kind of get to see the happy endings for the simple reason that my expertise is in the process of healing. I can see very clearly when people are on track with their healing and when they're off track. And so I can help guide people back on the straight and narrow of supporting their body, listening to their body, trusting their body, and allowing neural pathways that feel normal and feel good to reset and rewire. So yes, you can heal. Yes, you can get better. And I collect case studies for the simple reason that I think the internet is full of drama and catastrophe and the horror stories, right? And it's just not truthful. In fact, those stories are incomplete. And so what I'm trying to encourage my clients to who go through the Rocksteady healing process or through the Beautiful Balance therapy program to actually claim their healing, share their recovery, share the process of healing, and talk through what it means to them. So there's heaps of case studies on my site, and we might walk you through my site in a moment so you can see what that looks like.
Yeah, that would be really good. Yeah.
I mean, I've personally had vestibular migraine, I've had tinnitus, I've had anxiety, I've had depression, and I've had BPPV twice. And I'm completely normal. I have zero symptoms. And just recently I perforated my eardrum surfing. So I got a surfboard right in my ear, perforated my eardrum. I had tinnitus for 1 week while the eardrum itself was healing, which is noisy. You can hear more plumbing too because you've got all this leaking discharge coming out of your ear. And I had mild hearing loss. It's all normal. Like, things happen. And this is a reminder for everybody, is there's not one human on the planet who's born who feels perfectly normal every day. Like, it's normal to get hiccups. It's normal to get colds. It's normal to get knee injuries or, whatever, like infections. Like, we're not immune to everything. So part of being normal and part of returning to normal is having robustness to actually live life, to go surfing, get injured and recover again. Because otherwise, if we want to feel normal and perfect all the time, every day, we get into avoidance and we never go surfing. What if?
That's right.
What if my vertigo comes back? What if my
what if?
Right?
A lot of people are stuck in the what ifs.
Correct. And stuck is a good word because neurologically that means they can never heal because they're never relaxing their brain and their system out of the fight, flight, freeze, catastrophe, danger zone. And in order to heal and use neuroplasticity, we have to be in joy, relaxation, play, fun, the parasympathetic rest and repair mode, also important for digestion. And so a lot of people with these chronic invisible symptoms will have like irritable bowel syndrome as well.
Yeah.
Because they're actually chronically frustrated, annoyed, irritated, upset, scared, nervous. So part of the Rocksteady healing program and part of healing is actually getting into the nervous system, soothing it, settling it, understanding it, resetting and reframing old fears, cutting the what if altogether, being present and following desire. So if you want to go surfing, you go surfing. Why? Because you desire it, not because you're afraid of dizziness. And in that process of living from joy and love, kindness, compassion, and resilience, from that place, we reset the entire brain and nervous system. You become a new version of you. You rebuild yourself, right? Healing is possible, and the case studies are all on my website, seekingbalance.com.au.
So it's a fantastic website for unbelievable research, for resource, sorry, not research, and research, resource, but you showed me earlier and it's absolutely brilliant, I have to say. The other thing that people say is, I know that we've touched upon this a bit earlier, but, how long will it take me to heal? When can I get out of this hell?
Yeah.
What would you say to people?
I love that question. Well, first of all, healing is a physical, mental, emotional, spiritual process. By physical, I mean there are physical membranes and pathways, and in the case of superior canal dehiscence or perforated eardrum, you physically have to rebuild parts of your anatomy, whether that's thinning bony layers or the perforated eardrum healing, like a skin injury. There are physical healing aspects to Meniere's as well. So when Meniere's people have a rupture of the endolymphatic sac, they've got to physically repair that. There's membranes and physical hormone changes and all this. With neuroplasticity, there are physical neurotransmitters, physical neuron synapsing. There's a physical element. So there is physical healing that needs to happen, depending on what's going on for you. Then there's mental and emotional. The mental is coming back to clarity, coming back to focus, coming back to concentration. If people are living in a noisy environment of I can't do this, I can't heal, why am I like this? And in a noisy environment of not trusting themselves and going to other people for help, going, Lara, what do I do? Or doctor, what do I do? Audiologist, help me. Physiotherapist, help me. Psychologist, help me. This noisy externalization actually doesn't create the mental space and the mindset we need for healing, right? So connecting back into focus, clarity, and concentration speeds up healing. Emotionally, if we're caught in fight, flight, freeze, danger, anxiety, depression, isolation, basically lack of connection and trust, we're going to have zero healing. You can't heal from that place of emotional chaos. So people who are able to trust themselves, connect back into their nature, connect back into their soul, into their heart, and emotionally cultivate safety and what I call steadiness. So finding steadiness is the root intention of Rocksteady, the healing program. You need emotional safety before your brain is capable of neuroplasticity. In other words, there is no point doing vestibular physiotherapy exercises or rehabilitation exercises physically if you're in a place of anxiety and fear. You must start with emotions, then do the physical rehab, right? And then from a spiritual level, it's like, what's happened to you? What other traumas have happened in your life? Do you trust yourself? How do you talk to yourself? What's your relationship to yourself? Are you connected to your own, what's your personal relationship? And then spiritually is also like, how do you fit into the world? How do you connect with others? How do you relate to the world around you? So some people are going to heal really quickly. And, even that perforated eardrum I had with really a leaking, discharging ear, severe loud tinnitus, it got better in like a week. All of their symptoms resolved I couldn't believe it, in 7 days. But the entire time I was physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually connected to the healing. I was celebrating it. I was in awe of it. I was fascinated. I was on the same page. So there was coherency. There was nothing getting in the way of it, yeah? So same with BPPV. I mean, you can treat that within 24 hours easily. Vestibular migraines, I've had people who have had migraines come and go in 20 minutes. It's been a quick, elegant process. They identify it, they soothe it, they support the healing, and the roller coaster smooths out. Other people take years or never heal. Why? Because they never take responsibility for their role in the healing equation. They're constantly asking other people to fix them. And there's nothing wrong with this. This is not a judgment. This is just an option. Okay, some people sort of say, no, I can't listen to my body. No, I can't hear the wisdom. No, I can't figure it out. I can't do it.
Or I'm not strong enough.
Yeah.
Is one.
All of that is sabotaging the healing, in which case it's handicapping them from ever healing. No one else can ever change your neurons except you. You can't expect a hypnotherapist to do it. You can't expect a psychologist or partner or child or anyone. The only person who can reset and rewire your neural pathways so you can feel normal again is you. And when people come and work with me, I say, I can't do this for you. And if I could, I would. It's not that I don't want to. It's just that I can't. And so it's not a miracle. It's not magical. It's not even esoteric. It's a logical healing process that involves physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects. And unless they are in alignment and working together coherently, the process won't happen. Right? No. So healing can happen very quickly in hours and days, or it can be a lifelong journey that someone struggles with forever.
I think there's a lot of people that you've touched on out there that get in the way of themselves. There's a lot of people that it's them that's stopping them from healing. As you say, only you can heal. Only you are responsible, and you are the one that can get into control.
Correct. And I've been there. I've been that desperate, helpless, hope. I wanted to commit suicide.
Me too.
Me too. Get me out of here, right? And at that point in my life, I was younger. I was in my 20s. I didn't believe in myself. I didn't know how to access my power. I didn't know how to regulate my emotions. I had been trained my entire life to ask my parents, ask my teacher, ask my doctors. I'd been trained to externalize, right? So I had to learn the hard way how to go within, how to listen, how to cultivate my own desired feeling, how to take responsibility for where I wanted to be, and to have truthfully acknowledge where I was. And the trick with neuroplasticity is closing that gap. What am I feeling now? What do I desire to feel? How can I cultivate that? How can I create that, right? So
Okay.
for those of you out there who are like, I don't believe in myself, I can't heal, am I doing something wrong? That kind of thing. No, you're not doing anything wrong. You're just stuck in a society that is marketing to you, buy this product, buy this device, buy this tinnitus kill or vitamin, or do this tinnitus retraining therapy, or go see this CBT specialist, or get your neck cracked and moved by this osteo or chiropractor, right? We're living in a society that is selling solutions, right? Whereas the journey I take people on is basically, I can't fix you and I don't claim to fix you, but I can teach you how to trust your body and learn how to do that for yourself, so you don't need to go outside anymore. So it's like learning, and in fact, many of my clients say, Joey, this is like learning a new language. They're like, I'm starting from scratch. I've never done this before. I've never trusted myself. I've never listened to my body. And they're like, I feel like I'm learning an entire new language. And it's a good analogy, because it's like picking up a whole new vocabulary and a whole new grammatical structure, and your brain starts to actually operate differently. And so for those of you who are feeling like, oh my God, that's me, I'm not helping myself and I don't know how, fair enough, that makes perfect sense. Like, have compassion and forgiveness for where you are, and you don't need to change. Like, nobody needs to do my programs and nobody needs to take on neuroplasticity. It's a choice. And the choice will always be there for you, even when you're 80 or 90. You never lose the capacity to heal with neuroplasticity. It's just readiness. Are you ready? Do I want to heal? Because taking responsibility and having the courage to go through this process is scary. Like, I'm not going to lie. Because sometimes we get very safe and familiar in our symptoms and in our diagnosis, and that becomes our safe little home we live in. And to break out of that and go, oh my God, you're telling me I can try and ride my bike, I can walk, I can hike, I can camp, I can get a job, I can, what? Like, that's like this whole new world of possibility. And to actually gently go through that and sort of try the waters, it's scary. It's trial and error. It takes courage. And to be ready for that is liberating, it's empowering, and it's frightening.
I think there's a lot of people that don't believe in themselves. And I think this program sounds, what you offer is amazing, because it gives people back themselves and it reconnects them to themselves again and find themselves, like on a pilgrimage. It's life-changing.
Yeah. So if those of you who are out there and you're a bit like, where do I start? Probably go straight to my website, seekingbalance.com.au. Maybe I'll share my screen. Should we do that?
Yeah, can you? Yeah, brilliant. If you can show people, that'd be brilliant. Nothing better than visuals.
Okay. Let's see if this pops up. Hopefully people can see this.
Yeah, I can see it.
From my homepage, there's a bunch of menus up the top, and I would explore each of these. I have a really generous podcast and YouTube channel that's freely accessible, open to the public, no matter where you're living in the world. There's plenty of goodness in that podcast and YouTube channel. In the free resources, there is like a really great place to start, and that's where I answer a lot of frequently asked questions for people who are just getting started.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you have tinnitus or dizziness or both, there's a lot of support here for you. There's sections where you can read on your diagnosis and a lot of the common vestibular diagnoses. So read on your diagnosis. I've got some information on various conferences I presented at in medical and audiological places around the world, and research articles for those of you who need to learn about the brain and the neurons and the science, and go for it. From the free resources place, I would invite you to join our Facebook group, and there are links to that. When you join the free starter kit, you get a free body scan you can try at home. There's information on the masterclass for vertigo and tinnitus, so explaining the goose chase, the dilemma, the predicament most people are in, why the doctors can't fix us, why they can't explain things. I explain all of that, and then I also talk about an alternative solution and how to use neuroplasticity on your own and take your power back. All of that's in the free starter kit, as well as an invitation to join the Facebook group. It's free, and you get to meet other people, share stories about healing. And in our Facebook group, we don't offer advice. We don't talk about symptoms. We don't post heaps of external links, because that's just another distraction and it's confusing. that Facebook group is purely about using neuroplasticity for healing. And if people start sort of going, woe me, and I feel this and I can't that, they actually get deleted, right? It's a really great supportive group. So join the Facebook
It's
group.
just positive group.
Well, it's also resilience. It's robust. It's realistic. Because you're allowed to talk about your challenges, but there's a big difference between saying, hey, I had a sad and lonely day and this is what I did to pull myself out of that.
Sure.
Very different to saying, hate my tinnitus, I wake up and it's still there and blah, 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 right? So it's just reframing how we talk about recovery.
Absolutely.
And that's a skill and a lesson to learn. So go to the case studies. It's the link up here. There are heaps of case studies. People have generously and bravely shared their journey. People from all over the world.
And you've covered a lot of a massive wide range of spectrum of vestibular disorders, and it looks like you've pretty much covered every vestibular disorder on here.
Yeah, we're getting there. And there's also a superior canal dehiscence case study as well on the podcast. So if you're interested in working with me privately, I do offer private therapy for just a small number of people. Most people will go straight through the self-study programs, and this is where I'd recommend you at least start looking.
Yeah.
And there's the free starter kit, the 7-day support program. This one just gives you a really lovely introduction to a daily practice, because neuroplasticity is a daily practice. And it teaches you how little by little to identify, what do I feel? What do I want to feel? How am I going to get there? Right? Okay. That process on repeat is basically what you need to cultivate for yourselves. Then to go deeper and to get the full comprehensive support over 12 weeks with 24/7 access to videos, audios, PDFs, and community support, go straight to Rocksteady. And I'm starting a live Rocksteady program at the end of this month. So it'll be January 29th, 2019. And that's live group calls. You get to talk with your peers all over the world, share your healing, share your insights, share your challenges, and share that trial and error problem solving process. Everybody does Rocksteady differently. It's not generic. Okay. It's a physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual toolkit where people draw upon. Yeah. And sometimes I use the analogy of fishing, and you don't use exactly the same fishing rod or exactly the same lure or exactly the same bait every day. It depends on the season, the weather, the tides, where you are, what fish you want to attract. So you're always picking and choosing different things based on your desire. Yeah. And that skillfulness takes time and practice. You don't become an awesome fisherman straight away. So the Rocksteady program gears people up. You keep it for life, and many people redo the program because what you hear the first time round is superficial. When you go back and do it again, you go much deeper because you've already done all this work and already had all this inner transformation, that when you go back to module 1 again and again, you'll always go deeper into more inner knowing, into more wisdom. So it really is a spiral kind of process more so than an end destination.
Yeah, it's a nice journey, it sounds like.
Yeah. So I might stop the screen share unless there's anything else you wanted me to point out, Lara.
I think your website is just a wealth of knowledge and fantastic resource. I think the packages are amazing, and there's something for everyone there. So go and have a look at it, and you pick and choose what you want. I suppose everybody's different, aren't they? But I've certainly, just by talking to you in this brief call that we had just before we did this recording, you've given me a bit more positivity. Actually, I feel much more better about myself. I feel I need to get out in nature more, which is one thing that we did touch upon, didn't it?
Yeah.
So I know what I need to do to heal myself up to 100%.
Yeah, and I think something that we kind of touched upon earlier, if you don't mind me sharing, is like, we often miss the spiritual aspect of healing. We get so fixated on diets and Pilates and meditations and and then there's a voice in our head going, I'm trying everything, why aren't I better yet? And it's like, no, you're not trying everything. Because until it's really rounded, our body's basically saying, no, you're not there yet. And we
Yeah.
often miss that invisible aspect. So they're invisible symptoms, often it's an invisible solution. It's very rarely diet, it's very rarely just meditation. That spiritual aspect of reconnecting with nature and reconnecting with ourselves, developing that inner friendship is often missing. And
yeah, and I draw from nature. I draw the power from nature. I connect very well. I go and tree hug. I think a lot of my members and followers see me hugging trees all around the Surrey countryside. But I feel their energy, and I'll even go and pick up a leaf off the floor and hug it. It's bizarre, but I do. I go barefoot in my garden. I find a lot of grounding from it, and I find I reconnect really well, and I find I heal better that way. And because I went on holiday and got out of my routine, I got out of that routine of going out in nature, and I felt a little bit worse for wear when I came back. So now I know this is the time to, and you've shown me the way to reconnect.
And just to bring a little bit of science to that. So what Lara is describing is when she's touching leaves or connecting with the earth or touching trees, she's physically getting present. Like her touch proprioceptive system is in touch mode, right? She's not in the future, what if? She's not in the past, why did that happen? She's touching a leaf, she's in her sensory system, she's immediately present. She's also experiencing a childlike sense of awe. Just like look at the patterns in that leaf, or just feel the life of that tree. She's in that sense of like, wow, this is bigger than me. I can't explain this. It's awe, AWE, awe. That's a very important mindset to be in for healing, to be present, to be in awe and wonder. And from that place, the brain can kind of go, yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm feeling all right. I'm feeling safe. I'm feeling connected. And from that place, the left and right hemispheres of the brain can start swapping messages. And that's what brings us back into our balance. Now, when we're stuck at home in our claustrophobic little life going, I can't this and I can't that, the left and right hemispheres of the brain are not communicating, right? They're locked. They're like, danger. And there's no healing. So staying at home in fear is not helping anyone.
Yeah, I so get that. I so get that. And I've gotten into a little rut again. It's the beginning of the year and I've got back from holiday. I'm catching up on emails and catching up on this, and I'm in my four walls and I'm feeling vertigo and I'm feeling dizzy. It's because I'm not getting out. It's because I'm not trusting my body to get out.
Yeah. And
so I need to do that.
To be honest, you could actually reframe that. I'm not feeling dizzy. My body is calling me back to nature. Like there is no dizziness. My body is
calling me back. I love it.
Giving me a sensation, and that sensation is inviting me back home. Right?
Yeah. It's a nice way to
in these four walls. I'm not home. I need to get back out into my life. And the dizziness can be that little alarm clock that's going ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. And the one thing I just love doing is walking. So, I know what I need to do. Thank you for showing me the light, Joey. Well, I really appreciate your time. And give us your website link again.
At seekingbalance.com.au.
Yeah. Okay. So everybody needs to go there for resource. And how do people connect with you straight away? Is it best by email or through your website or?
Yeah. So go through the website. That I have application links. If you want to work with me privately in therapy, you can fill in a little form and apply to do that. Same goes if you want urgent therapy and you need to talk to me as soon as possible. There is a link for getting urgent support.
Okay.
And you'll find all of that on my website. The best way to get started would be just go to the free resources and you'll have me in your ears. Just click play and I'll be there.
Wonderful. I'll be doing it straight away. Sign me up to the 7-day program.
Oh yeah, that's a ripper. That's really beautiful.
Oh yeah, lovely. Thank you so much, Joey.
Absolute pleasure, Lara. Lovely to meet you. And mummyseeingdouble.com is your blog?
That is, yeah. www.mummyseeingdouble.com, and then you'll find me on Facebook, Mummy Seeing Double, Instagram. I'm on Twitter, pretty much everywhere. Yeah. So raising awareness as much as we can.
Great. So I'm Joey from seekingbalance.com.au. If you want to get started in global peer support, get into Live Rocksteady now because we're starting in just a couple of weeks, end of January. And I also have a free call coming up. You can let your people know on January 20th, 21st. And all of that
I
information
will
is
do.
on the website. Beautiful.
Wonderful. Thank you.
It's a bye for now.